Tonight on the Q30 Newscast, Residence Hall area councils have been chosen, but there are still some open spots.
And we have more information on multiple efforts being made by students for hurricane relief.
We also sat down with new communications professor Ashley Brandon.
I like to film things that you wouldn't think would be in a documentary. I'm always searching for contradictions.
To discuss her latest work.
All this and more on the Q30 Newscast.
Live from the Student Center Piazza, this is the Q30 Newscast.
Hello and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Brenna Oricoli.
And I'm Katie O'Keefe. It's almost time for all of us to experience the newest addition to the school's dining system.
That's right, Starbucks is set to have its grand opening on October 1st. John McMahon spoke with students to hear about what they thought about the nearly completed coffee shop.
Starbucks is coming to Quinnipiac. The famous coffee shop is nearing completion in the Carl Hansen Student Center above the Piazza. Employee training has begun and they're ready to get brewing. Q30 caught up with students to hear their reactions.
Oh, I think it's really exciting, but I think it's going to be a lot of competition for Aubon, being that it's so close.
Yeah, I love Starbucks, and I love my gift cards too, so I hope I can use them here.
Although many students eagerly await its opening, the location of the coffee shop is still a split issue.
I've done work in here a few times. I kind of like it because I don't really like going to the library, but I'm not really bothered by noise, so I think I'll be okay if I study in here.
There's a problem on this campus for fraternity and sorority life to meet, for student government to meet, for students to put together events on campus and to have a space.
Regardless of what students think or not of the space, there is one thing for sure. There'll be a lot more of these on campus. For Q30 News, I'm John McMahon.
While the university gets ready to unveil the new Starbucks, athletics held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new turf fields located over by Hogan Road. The new stadiums are home to Quinnipiac field hockey, men's and women's lacrosse, and men's and women's soccer. The new stadiums can hold 1,500 fans for the soccer and lacrosse section and about 500 viewers for the field hockey section. Both stadiums are equipped with brand new locker rooms, athletic training rooms, and press boxes. Additions to the fields are still being made. It's hard to believe, but advising meetings are already coming up, and that means class registration for spring semester is just around the corner. To break it down, graduate students register October 16th, seniors register October 18th, juniors register on the 23rd, sophomores on the 25th, and freshmen on October 30th. All students in the same grade will register at the same time, 7 a.m. on the designated day.
And with registration coming up, Quinnipiac is now offering two new courses, a biology course and an Italian course. Italian 210 will take place in the spring and teaches students about the food, history, and culture of Italy. But the best part is there will also be a spring break trip to Tuscany for the full experience as part of the course. Bio 207 is a 2-week immersive summer class where students will study coral reefs underwater through daily scuba diving in Bonaire, Netherlands. Both courses are worth 3 credits. Ashley Brandon, a new professor in the Film, Television, and Media Arts Department, had her documentary selected for screening at film festivals in New Hampshire, Texas, and Missouri. Krista Delane sat down with the professor to learn more about the documentary.
I like to film things that you wouldn't think would be in a documentary. I'm always searching for contradictions. Most of my films have to do with some type of contradiction happening in society, kind of people living outside of the mainstream. And I always wanted to make a film about taxidermy. I think taxidermy is weird. I'm an animal lover. I have no hunting in my family, no hunting background, and I just always thought it was a weird concept to have dead animals on your wall. And I happened to hear about this young female taxidermist living in Chicago, which is where I was stationed at the time.
So what was the process from start to finish? Were there a lot of struggles in the beginning, or was it pretty smooth most of the production?
It was a lot of shooting because there were so many different ways that the story could have gone. So I guess that was maybe the main struggle. We had so much footage. We followed her for a year and a half for a film that we knew would only be about 15 minutes long. And I eventually found out that there's actually a taxidermy competition that's quite cutthroat and I guess you could say a stiff competition, no pun intended. And she always wanted to do this competition. But being a young woman in the taxidermy industry, you're kind of an outsider already. And she's never really been accepted by other taxidermists. And that's sad because this is her passion. It's how she makes her living, and it's what she's really just all about every day, is making animals look alive.
Mickey's Pets, it was selected to be at 3 more festivals. Have you been traveling for them? Will you be traveling?
Yeah, so it's been accepted into 3 festivals, and yesterday we were accepted into another in Memphis. We're trying to make it to all these festivals. We're going to make it to a couple.
Do you have any advice for other young filmmakers?
Setting deadlines and pushing yourself is when you happen to be the most creative, so I really abide by that rule. Filmmaking is a lifelong process of you getting better, and more than the successes you'll have, you're going to have failures. And it's just, what do you do after that failure?
Sophia Marshall is the newly elected freshman SGA president. We spoke with her to hear about her plans for the upcoming year.
I really want this school to become the best version of itself that it possibly can be. So I'm going to work 110% to make sure that happens. So already my team has 7 initiatives going. We're full steam ahead, which I think is really awesome. But yeah, I'm just excited for the connections I'm going to make and things that I'm going to do. Right now we're kind of focusing on making Quinnipiac better in terms of mostly cleanliness, to be honest. So right now we're doing an initiative for Commons, making Commons cleaner. Another big thing that we're working on is getting the dining hall hours, the rat hours, a little bit longer, which hopefully will go well. And there's a lot of others that we're still in the process of, so I don't necessarily want to give away too much yet, but there are definitely a lot that we're really excited about. We're definitely working really hard.
The results from Residence Hall Council elections are in. The president of Commons is Olamide Gabosjo. President of Ledges is Reina Villar. President of Mountain View is Olivia Powers. President of the Suites is Jenna McNetchie. President of Village is Jake Forestdale. And President of Irma and Dana is Max Fortier. The president for York Hill is Alexis Bertrand. All positions for Hill, Pearlroth still need to be filled. There are also many open spots still remaining for representatives of Commons, Ledges, Suites, and Village, as well as open secretary spots in Ledges, Suites, and Irma Dana. If you're interested, reach out to Tiffany Enriquez, Vice President of RHC. Congratulations to everyone on area councils.
Residential Life has been known for having strict policies on lights within the residence halls, and they just approved a new policy. All decorative lights must be UL listed, which is designated by the letters UL labeled on the tag. The UL listing means that the product has been tested and nationally recognized for safety. For many freshman students, the transition to college can be difficult. To make the transition a bit easier, Residential Life and Health Services are holding some events. Fresh Check Day is a mental health awareness day that takes place all over the country and is sponsored by the Jordan Porco Foundation. There will be free food and fun activities, including riding carts around a course with drunk goggles on. The event will take place on October 6th at noon on the Bobcat Way lawn. Fresh Stress is a new program this year that involves groups of freshmen coming together to talk about anxiety, homesickness, stress, and more. The next Fresh Stress event will be on October 10th at 10 a.m. in Student Center 117. We now go to Krista Delane for a look at today's weather.
This weather sure has been crazy. It may be fall, but the humidity makes it feel like it still is summer. Today was definitely a day for lots of hairspray and hats. But we will be having weather coming up that will finally feel like fall and like you can go apple picking. I'll have that and more coming up. Now back to Brenna and Katie at the desk.
Thanks, Krista. Coming up, QU students hold various fundraisers to support the victims of the recent hurricanes.
And Sarah Russell has a national news update. We'll be right back.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network.
We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy. Bobcat Breakdown.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad,
in your room,
Or heading to class.
tune in to Q30 News.
For stories by student journalists you can trust.
we are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
In the wake of recent hurricanes, Quinnipiac students are lending a helping hand. The Latino Cultural Society held a fundraising event this week to assist both Puerto Rico and Mexico. We spoke to LSC Vice President Stephanie Martinez about her fundraising goals.
We're donating to UNICEF for Mexico and Amizade for Puerto Rico, which are two really big organizations who are, sending money and resources down to them to help in any way they can.
Another drive was held to gather supplies and donations to send to a fellow Quinnipiac student's family.
The Behavioral Neuroscience Club set up a relief drive for Hurricane Irma, and it's for a former Quinnipiac student whose family's home got devastated by the hurricane.
We're set up here at the Student Center, and if anyone would like to help, we'll be here tomorrow, Thursday, September 28th, from 10 to 12. So if you or anyone would like to help, come see us.
The student's family lost their house during Hurricane Irma.
The Deferred Action for Children Arrivals, commonly known as DACA, has been a major topic of discussion throughout the country and the Quinnipiac community. Q30's own Aya Galal took a closer look into how the Quinnipiac community is helping those affected.
On Thursday, a small silent rally was held in support of undocumented members of the Quinnipiac community. It was organized by several graduate students who call themselves Q United.
We just wanted to show our support and also just to sort of see that this is something people care about here on campus.
This month, President Trump announced that he plans on rescinding DACA. But what exactly is DACA? It stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's a program that protects individuals who entered the country illegally as minors from deportation.
This is the only country they've known as home, and they are at risk of being deported. They're also at risk of losing their ability to work legally. So there's a lot of things that could happen that I don't see, and I don't see any benefit to this.
This immigration policy was put into effect in 2012 by President Obama. 800,000 individuals across the nation are enrolled in the program.
I think it's cruel to uproot students who have been here making contributions, to then uproot them and force them to go to a place that has never been their home.
Event organizers and supporters want other members of the community to contact their congresspeople and connect with local organizations in order to protect DACA. For Q30 News, I'm Aya Galal.
Community Action Project is hosting their annual Helping Hands Day on Saturday. The event is a day of service for the Hamden and New Haven communities. We spoke with the president of CAP, Katie Wilcox-Smith. Here's what she said.
Our goal is to make it bigger than last year. Last year we had just under 100 participants. This year we're hoping for 150 to 200. We're trying to reach out to more athletic teams as well as other student organizations and freshmen.
From Hurricane Maria ripping through Puerto Rico to NFL players taking a knee, it has been a busy week in national news.
It absolutely has. Sarah Russell is here to give us a full national news update.
Thanks, guys. Well, Puerto Rico is still dealing with the devastation left behind by Hurricane Maria. Most of the country has been left without power. Buildings and homes have been torn apart, and some roads have even been washed away. So far, there have been 10 confirmed deaths. Governor Ricardo Rossello has been asking the government for aid, emphasizing the fact that the people of Puerto Rico are American citizens as well. The Federal Emergency Management Agency said that food, water, and generators have been sent to the island. President Trump is planning on visiting Puerto Rico next Tuesday. Football players across the nation made headlines this weekend, but not for touchdowns. Athletes from all 28 teams in the NFL protested comments made by President Trump where he stated that team owners should fire players who disrespect the flag. In protest of the president's remarks, as well as racial and social injustice, many players took a knee or locked arms during the national anthem. These protests have begun to spread to other sporting leagues. Players in the WNBA, MLB, and non-professional teams also took a knee or locked arms before the start of their games. Target has raised its minimum wage for its employees this week. Minimum wage workers, including those hired for the holiday season, will now make $11 an hour. This is a considerable difference from the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 an hour. Target has been working to increase its salary for workers in the last few years. The brand plans on having a minimum wage of $15 an hour by 2020. The CEO and chairman of Equifax, Richard Smith, has stepped down from his position. His retirement comes after a cyber breach that put the personal information of 143 million U.S. citizens in danger. Smith is the third executive to leave Equifax after the cyber breach. Smith has been with the company since 2005 and will continue working with them for the next 90 days without pay to help transition his job to those next in line. Mark Fielder will become the non-executive chairman, and Paulino Dorrego Barros will serve as the interim CEO. That's it for National News. I'm Sarah Russell. Back to Katie at the desk.
Thanks, Sarah. When we come back, Krista Delane has your weekly weather update. Stay with us.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Whether you're on the quad,
in your room,
or heading to class,
tune in to Q30 News.
for stories by student journalists you can trust.
we are covering the latest here on campus and in surrounding areas.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
Bobcat Breakdown presented by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network.
We are your source for debate.
Did they make the playoffs last year, Tom Jenkins?
When it clicks, it clicks.
We dissect Quinnipiac athletics on a scale you've never seen before.
With Tobia, it almost looks like she's reaching a little bit.
Plus, we bring in the biggest names surrounding college sports.
We are live here at the Times Union Center with Jay Billis.
And of course, some comedy.
But you can only have so much arena food.
I think you're crazy. Bobcat Breakdown.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
This September weather has not shown any signs of fall. Krista Delane is standing by to tell us if there will be any relief from this heat and humidity we've been having. Krista?
Guys, don't worry, the humidity will be leaving us soon as we finally start to see some fall weather. Tonight it is 70 degrees, it's been cloudy, and as you can see probably by my hair, the humidity is affecting all of us. Tomorrow it will get a little bit nicer. It's going to be sunny, 75, and as you go into tomorrow night, 60 and cloudy, so not too bad at all. If we look at the surrounding towns, we have Torrington, Danbury, and New Haven in the 70s. Killingly is a little bit cooler, 68, Hartford 72, and New London is also 70. And then if we look at our 7-day forecast, today we had a high of 86 and a low of 64. It was partly cloudy, but we still did see the sun. Tomorrow it will be nice and sunny, a little bit cooler at 75 with a low of 46. Friday, as we go into the long weekend, we start to see that official fall weather at 68 with a low of 48. Saturday is our only day with rain. It will be 65 and a low of 45. Sunday, we will see the sun again at 70 with a low of 48. And Monday and Tuesday will both be 70. That's all I have for your 7-day forecast. Enjoy your long weekend, Bobcats. Now back to Katie and Brenna at the desk.
There's plenty going on this week in Hollywood. Let's get right over to Isabella for an update on the latest celebrity news. Isabella?
Is the world ready for 3 new members of their Kardashian-Jenner clan in a short time? Looks like we might not have a choice. They recently announced that Khloe Kardashian is expecting a baby with her boyfriend Tristan Thompson. This comes just a week after the rumor that Kylie Jenner is 5 months pregnant with rapper Travis Scott's baby. Well, Kylie has yet to publicly confirm it. Sources close to the family say it is all true. Kanye and Kim are expecting the baby in January via surrogate. It just happens to be the same time as the 10-year anniversary of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Just 2 days after. Coincidence? Maybe. Sofia Vergara is arguably the most powerful woman in television. Forbes just named her the 2017 highest paid television actress for the 3rd year in a row. Vergara is famous for playing Gloria Delgado Pritchett on Modern Family, where she made $41 million before taxes. Surprisingly, she only makes a quarter of that from Modern Family. The majority of her income comes from endorsement deals, movie roles, and speaking engagement. Kelly Kuko from The Big Bang Theory came in second, making $26 million. Speaking of The Big Bang Theory, the much-anticipated spinoff, Young Sheldon, was just rated the most watched new show. This is based on Jim Parsons' character, Sheldon Cooper. It has narrated his life as a 9-year-old genius and high school student. Young Sheldon got a staggering 16 million viewers, which was the largest number of viewers for a comedy premiere on any network since Two Broken Girls in 2011. A lot took place in the music industry this week. Let's take a look. So who is Cardi B? Her Sing Dak Bodak Lil kicked Taylor Swift's off Look What You Made Me Do off the #1 spot on Billboard's #1 chart. Let's hope one of Taylor's alter egos doesn't get mad. This is a historic achievement. She was the first artist in 19 years to make a #1 hit without any assistance from an accredited artist. She is now one of just 5 female rappers to ever have a top hit. Congratulations to Cardi B. That's all for today's entertainment update. I'm Isabella Gerber. We're going to take a quick break.
This is Sports Pause.
Are you concerned with the 0-2 start for this team?
Right here, top of the circle, again, rips it past the Jasper's goalie.
What will breaking the record mean for the program himself? I mean, 138 wins.
There's the tough shot. What a nice play by Mikey Dixon.
He's good in transition. Just a really dynamic scorer he can create for himself.
And now, Emma, it's time for the top 5 plays of the week.
Coming up on #that, we talk about some fun events around Quinnipiac's campus.
And we talk about some weird news that's been discussed around Twitter.
All that and more, we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning After.
We have MJ Baird here with this week's sports update.
MJ, what have the QU sports teams been up to?
Well, Katie, Quinnipiac Athletics are off to a great start to the fall season, but before we get to the teams, we start tonight following an update to the newly constructed athletic fields on Hogan Road. Quinnipiac held a ceremony on Monday to formally dedicate the complex. Here are some sights and sounds from the event.
1, 2, 3.
Quinnipiac University President John Leahy was the first to address the crowd to convey his delight of the project's completion.
We had a little challenge in planning and zoning, and wetlands took us 3 years to get all this approved, but I'm delighted, and I hope you are too, with the outcome of this project.
Coaches and administrators expressed their gratitude for the new facilities, but the biggest news came from Athletic Director Greg Amodio.
This is clearly a state-of-the-art facility, not just here in the Northeast, but nationally. And that's been shown already in a short amount of time. We had the folks here from the Big East over the weekend, and we've already been awarded the 2019 Big East Field Hockey Championships on our home field.
Certainly big news for Quinnipiac to be hosting the 2019 Big East Field Hockey Championships. Quinnipiac Athletics debuted its new mobile app on Monday. The app is available on both the App Store and the Google Play Store. Students and fans can download the app and earn royalty rewards for attending various games and Quinnipiac Athletics events. I have the app myself and I looked. It only takes 2,000 reward points to earn lunch with head women's basketball coach Trisha Fabry. Not too bad. Other features include live streams, ticket portals, and push notifications. Now let's take a look at some of the scores from Bobcat Athletics this week. Quinnipiac women's soccer taking on Marist. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. Marist scored in the final 3 minutes of the game. As for Quinnipiac volleyball, in their home opener, they swept St. Peter's 3-0. Rugby with a second half comeback, posting 36 points over 2 halves to beat Penn State 36-27. They were down 15-0 though at one point. Quinnipiac men's soccer lost 1-0 to New Hampshire. New Hampshire was ranked number 14 on Saturday when they came to Handon. And as for women's hockey, their first exhibition game of the year, they tied Concordia 3-3. And two scores that aren't on your screen right now. Quinnipiac men's soccer today took on Fairfield. They lost 1-0. And also women's volleyball beat Siena, in 3 sets. So those scores, of course, not on your screen. Field Hockey 2 versus Liberty, also not on your screen. Let's check out the tape. Field Hockey taking on Liberty. As I said, Quinnipiac 1-0 in the Big East. Here's Liberty with their first chance of the game, though. Save by Livy Golini. Another chance here, same player. This is Aggie Maroney. This time her shot goes off the post. Quinnipiac kind of holding on in the early going. But later in the half, it's Lauren Belsky putting the Bobcats on the board. Her 3rd goal of the season. Team leading 3rd goal as well. So here's this situation. Zeros on the clock. Liberty with a penalty corner. All the Bobcats need to do is block it to win the game, and they do. Quinnipiac deflects the ball out of play, wins 1-0. Livy Golini picks up her first shutout. The Bobcats improve to 2-0 in the Big East, and head coach Becca Mann said after the game, that win goes down as top 2 in program history for the Bobcats. Well, that's all for your sports roundup this week. Brenna, Katie, back to you.
Thanks, MJ. Quinnipiac has thousands of followers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But who's behind those posts?
Q30's Aya Galal will tell you on this week's Quinnipeople.
His job is to be in the shadows. Whether he's posting on Quinnipiac's social media pages, taking pictures at events, or updating information on the university's website, Jamie DeLoma helps give a voice to members of the Quinnipiac community.
I believe that I'm the ghost of Quinnipiac in many ways because you hear my voice a lot through the tweets and through the stuff on the screens, but you never really see my face.
As Associate Director of Live Communications at the Office of Brand Strategy and Integrated Communications, Jamie manages various channels that represent the university. But Quinnipiac's social media accounts didn't always have a large following.
When I started here 9 years ago, we had about 1,500 followers across all platforms. And we now have more than roughly 100,000 followers across the platforms if you add up the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Throughout the 9 years Jamie has worked at Quinnipiac, he's covered numerous events for the university's social media endeavors like visits from world leaders, national championship games, and his favorite,
commencement. I love graduation. It's such a bittersweet moment to see these students coming into TD Bank and celebrating their accomplishments and being among their loved ones and their peers and having a moment of pure jubilee.
He says the interactions he has with members of the Quinnipiac community is the best part of his job.
Even when I'm going home completely stressed after a 15-hour day of sending out my tweets and Facebooks and my photos, I always walk into my house feeling like, wow, like I'm part of a really cool community.
Reporting for Q30 News, I'm Aya Galal.
That's all we have for this week. Stay up to date with Q30 News by visiting our website at q30tv.com.
And follow us on Twitter at Q30 Television.
For all of us here at Q30, thank you for watching and have a great long weekend.